So when it comes to hitting good golf shots, let's face it, there's a lot of things that's out of our control. I know we like to feel we can control things. Yes, we might have influence on them with better practice, better mechanics, but ultimately there's going to be variability in our outcomes just by nature. But however, there is some things we can control, and the pre-shot routine is one of them. So in this video, I'm going to show you my 3 keys that you can integrate into your pre-shot routine to give you a better chance of hitting better golf shots. So let's get into it. So here I'm going through my pre-shot routine for you, just an example of what the professional might do. And let's assume that you've taken the consideration of the clubs, the conditions, etc., and you've picked the shot that you're going to hit, you've picked the club, and now we're getting ready to step into the shot. So that's what we're talking about here with the pre-shot routine. So as you can see, it doesn't take a long time. Anywhere between 10 to 20 seconds is pretty good. You don't need to take any longer than that. And as you can see here, I'm going through 3 key things, such as feeling my tempo, I'm breathing, and I'm focusing on my target, taking out distractions, and it's going to help me hit a better shot. So there's 3 things within my routine that I do that I feel that you could practice on and integrate yourself into your own routine and how that fits best for you. So the first one is going to be what I call tempo. And this is the part there where you saw me just taking a few rehearsal swings behind. Now I like to do mine behind the ball. So I'm just taking a few rehearsal swings here. Now within those rehearsal swings, I'm not trying to swing all out like I would when hitting the driver. I'm not rehearsing, swinging at full speed. I'm just getting a feel and a tempo. Now that might also be a time where, let's say you're trying to hit a certain shape of shot. So if you're trying to hit a draw, you might be feeling within that rehearsal a draw shape and how you organize your body for a draw. If you're trying to hit a fade, you might feel a bit of a fade feeling within that rehearsal, but there's no real thinking or there's no real technical thoughts. You're just feeling and getting a nice tempo. You might also be trying to shape a shot. You might be trying to hit it low, trying to hit it high, or there might be something you're working on your swing, which you can, it's okay to have one feel out there on the golf course that you might be working on with your coach, whatever that might be. It might be if you're trying to feel more like a fade because that straightens up your shot, you might feel like you're swinging it a bit more out in front of you here as part of your rehearsal. You might see the professional golfer sometimes on TV doing that, whatever it may be. But that's a time for you to just get your tempo, just get the feel and get you moving. Okay, so there might be times when you might have to really think something different, such as, let's say, if you're shanking it during a round. Now you can't just go out there in your rehearsals and just be thinking tempo, 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 and then you keep shanking it, shanking it, shanking it. Of course, that's a time where you've got to fix it, understand why you're doing that, and then you might have to make some corrections in game, and that's okay. Sometimes you've just got to get it around the golf course as best you can on those off days, and then afterwards work out exactly why that was to try and minimize it again. But that being said, have a try what feels good for you. So this is what I would call tempo. Now some people like to do it behind the ball, some people like to do it next to the ball, some might take 1 swing, 2 swings, and it doesn't have to be full swings either. It might just be little feels here. So that's something to try and see what works for you. Experiment with that on the range. Number 2 is, let's think when you're under pressure in life, when you're stressed, there's a lot going on, family, work, kids, etc. How do we get back to the present? How do we, I guess, inoculate that stress response in life? Now it's well known that breathing, yoga, etc. is a wonderful way to bring our heart rate down and to get us more present. So let's use some of that in golf. So I call this number 2 is breathe. So it sounds so simple, but we're never consciously really aware of ourselves breathing. We just go through life and it's just happening for us, which is great, because if it didn't, we wouldn't be alive. So, but if you can bring some consciousness to your breath before your shot, it's going to help inoculate that stress response. It's going to get you in a calmer state, bring your heart rate down, and again, give you a better chance of hitting a better golf shot. So where you can practice this, you can, when you're rehearsing on the practice range, is you can do some star jumps on the spot. You can just get the heart rate up a little bit. You can just do a little bit of a sprint, and then you've got to then stand behind the ball and breathe, big breath. And how quickly can you bring that heart rate back down? And then you can step into the shot and then hit some and see if you can find the middle of the golf club when you're practicing. It's just a great way to test how quickly you can bring your heart rate down and I guess, because that's going to be something similar you get on the golf course when you're under pressure on the first tee, or if you're in contention, or if you've just got friends watching and you want to perform, it can be stressful. So you want to have a way of just calming yourself down, bringing the heart rate down. So number 2 is breathe. Okay, and number 3, now we're getting target focus. So we've got our feels, we've got our tempo, we've been breathing, so we're nice and calm, and now it's go time, it's target time. Let's focus on the target. So 2 ways I feel you can do this. One way is called spot aiming, which is a way that I use. So what we're doing there is, as I'm behind the ball here, I'm looking, there's a bit of left to right wind here, so I'll be looking at the left edge of that fairway trap, right up at the on the top there of the hill, and I bring a line back to the golf ball, and perfect here because I've got a nice little leaf just in front of the ball, perfect position for me, and I'm going to focus on that as I walk in to the golf shot, a bit of a semicircle here, and the whole time I'm focusing on that leaf the whole time. And what I'm trying to do is align my club face up to that first. So I'm lining that up, and you see Tiger do this when he's playing. He's always looking at the spot in front of him, aligning his face there, and then he'll build the stance around that. A few more looks at that spot to make sure he's aligned. Okay, now you know you're in good alignment, and now you can be very target focused. So it's now I'm looking at that spot out there at the bunker. I'm not standing up and looking, I'm just tilting my head to the side there. And you'll notice that I'm also just moving, I'm constantly moving, just feet side to side, a little bit of a waggle, constantly moving. Now, the everyday golfer, what they would tend to do is they'll walk into the shot and they'll set the body up first, they'll look at the target, it'll be like this, and then they'll put the club down, and the aiming can be all off from here, and then they've got to make compensations. But not only that, they'll be down here the whole time, still there, very static, and then they'll pull the trigger. So within that time, not only are you losing that athleticism, that natural ability to kind of respond, you're also allowing time for negative thoughts to come in. We're in about out of bounds right, there's houses right, there's trees left, all these thoughts can start to creep in. So by keeping it a little bit more concise and keeping yourself moving, that's going to really help. So as you walk in, I'm focusing on that target, setting my club face there, build my stance, and now it's all target focused, and you can see I'm moving the whole time, moving, and then one last little waggle, and then it's pull the trigger. Now that's one way that I use. Another way, you can kind of use an interim target. Some people like to visualize more of a flight, so you might even visualize here that kind of board where you've got the red dot in the middle, like a dartboard type thing, or where the arrows go into, and you're visualizing where the ball wants to start in height, in line, and that's kind of a way you can visualize it as well. So as you're setting up to it again, you can be visualizing, you're just setting your golf club up to that line that's more of an interim target, that's a bit more out there. And isn't it great to be more focused on out there, because that's where we're hitting the shot. You don't want to be focused solely on here, which the everyday golfer often is. A lot of playing lessons that I do, I see the player just focused down there the whole time, and it's just not the best way, considering the targets out there. Yes, we need to get aligned and we need to get ourselves set, but then it's all about out there. Keep yourself moving, have a little waggle. I do recommend a little bit of a waggle or something, just a little trigger to help you get that then started. But those 3 things there are, I believe, the 3 keys that most everyday golfers can practice, and you can integrate that however you like. Practice that on the driving range before you go and then use it out on the golf course. So key number 1 is tempo. Find your tempo, find your feel. Key number 2 is breathe. And then number 3 is be target focused. So get yourself aligned and then be target focused, and then pull the trigger. So there is my that's my ideas there for pre-shot routine. Please give that a go. I hope it helps. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.